来回来，我的中文是在台湾选有这个但是我的在查理大学。
That was a lot of noise, but that's the reality of what is happening today. There are so many conversations, yet are we speaking to each other? Do we hear each other? And are our conversations building our Jewish community? They certainly need to. Over the next 30 to 40 minutes, we're going to introduce you to a new conversation, a new vision, a look into our future. We will introduce you to a trailblazing opportunity to be part of building tomorrow. Now, that's a big statement, but it is one we are committed to, and Jewish National Fund needs you to take part. Good evening. My name is Joe Wolfson. I'm the International Chair of the Jewish National Fund World Zionist Village, which we will construct in Be'er Sheva, Israel. It will include a JNF Israel Education and Innovation Center, the second campus for our Alexander Muss High School in Israel, our Frontier Gap Year program, a post-college internship program, adult education opportunities, and more. While it will encompass 21 acres of land in the heart of Be'er Sheva, it is more than a campus. It is and will be the focal point for the greatest movement the world has ever known, the Zionist movement. It is a powerful opportunity to bring people together from the streets of Be'er Sheva, Baltimore, Buenos Aires, and more. With Zionism as our common denominator, Jews from across the world, every Israeli soldier, every government ministry, every school in Israel, tour groups from across the globe, synagogues, teens, adults, educators, churches, and college interns will come to our Zionist Center. It will be a village designed as a global center with pathways, not only connecting buildings, but connecting us with our past and with each other, strengthening our movement and our future. An interactive village, a place for people to come together for a new conversation, our global Zionist conversation. Can you imagine? Instead of those noises we heard just a few moments ago, we will have real conversations. Yes, with our own ideologies and differences, but talking about what brings us together as a people, what allows us to come together in the land of Israel, Zionism. 5 years from now, you'll be able to walk through our village, walk through our quad. A beautiful stream will run through, and you will see teenagers from Australia, South America, and the United States studying in our high school, all having a conversation. Teachers, perhaps one from Russia and one from Peoria, Illinois, will talk and share how they are teaching the historic story of the land of Israel in their classrooms. And there'll be young people from Be'er Sheva and the United States, entrepreneurs, talking about new technologies, new inventions, and the greatest invention ever, our Zionist movement. Congregations will utilize our campus and our educational facilities to come together to learn about Zionism and the history and beauty of Israel. Imagine that conversation taking place every day and building the unity of our people. And all of this just a few feet away from Abraham's well, where all the monotheistic religions began, where our conversation began. So sit tight. Come with me as together we build our future. Welcome aboard.
Imagine a conversation about Israel, global Jewry, the leaders of today, of tomorrow, with people from Dimona, Denver, Kiryat Shimona, and Oklahoma. For the first time in Jewish history, Jewish National Fund is creating a conversation that will build bridges across generations, denominations, politics, and oceans, direct from Be'er Sheva in the footsteps of Abraham. The Jewish National Fund Israel Education and Technology Campus, a state-of-the-art village that will inspire Jewish leaders of all ages and backgrounds from all across the globe. A campus surrounded by sports fields, a 1,300-acre park, a 28-acre lake, an amphitheater, a 26-screen cinematheque, and Israel's largest mall. Be'er Sheva, a rich mosaic of people, home to Jewish National Fund's Be'er Sheva River Park, JNF's Louder Employment Center, Ben Gurion University, and high-tech companies. An ideal location to make Jewish National Fund's vision come true. The campus will include an internship, innovation, and technology center, the first Zionist adult education center in the world, the southern campus of our semester abroad high school in Israel, top quality conference center facilities, study areas, a food court, restaurants, a synagogue, beautifully landscaped outdoor space, classrooms, and comfortable, modern overnight accommodations for short and long-term stays. The Internship, Innovation, and Technology Center is critical to helping college graduates stand out from the crowd in this ever-changing, fast-paced world. Jewish National Fund will use its vast connections with Fortune 500 companies to help young people obtain internships. The Zionist Adult Education Center will provide a space for organizations and individuals interested in learning and exploring the beauty and greatness of the Jewish world. Alexander Muss High School in Israel is growing to 5,000 students annually. Expanding it to Be'er Sheva will help our youth learn, live, and love Israel, understand her challenges, grow as young Jewish leaders, and prepare them for life on college campuses and beyond. Join Jewish National Fund as we host the greatest conversation the global Jewish community ever had. Join us as we embark on a journey to build the first campus of its kind, the JNF Israel Education and Technology Campus, a campus that says we believe in the future of global Jewry. In 1901, there was Theodore Herzl. In 1948, there was David Ben-Gurion. Today, there is you.
As you just saw, we decided to dream big because our belief in the Jewish world is strong and our future is greater when we are united. And Zionism is our anchor. Yes, Jewish National Fund, together with the city of Be'er Sheva, will revolutionize Zionist and Jewish education and engagement with our friends for decades ahead. This new innovative campus will change the status quo and affect how we teach, how we learn, and how we connect to the land and people of Israel. This new state-of-the-art campus will include a second campus for Alexander Muss High School in Israel, where high school students spend a semester in Israel learning Jewish history. The education we offer at Alexander Muss High School in Israel is so relevant and meaningful that enrollment has been steadily increasing over the past 5 years. As a result, we're at capacity and we need a second campus. But you don't need to take my word for it. Let's hear directly from an alumna of the school.
My name is Gali Cooks. I am a proud alum of the Muss program. I have very, very fond memories of my time at Muss. I went as a senior in high school. This was February, March of 1996, and remember it as an incredibly formative experience at sort of the first sparks of adulthood. It was a time when I was the most independent that I had ever been before. Up till that time, I was able to meet kids from all over the country who had this connection and affinity to Israel that was very different than mine, and also really complemented and brought to life a lot of what we were learning and what we were grappling with as Jews living in the diaspora and trying to make sense of pretty complicated history as a Jewish people, and then certainly as an Israeli nation. I am one of 4 kids, and number 2 in that order, and all of us have gone to Muss. And it was really at the urging of my parents, who are Israeli, and they wanted us to get a sense of their country's history, and one that we are incredibly connected to. The experience itself was nothing short of magic. It was really happening during this time when I was most pliable, honestly, as a human being. And remember what we learned and the experiences that we had really feeding into what has become my identity. I mean, in many ways. I still have a lot of friends that I am in touch with from that time when we were in Israel. Just remember it being a really joyous and happy time. I'm also a new mother. I have a 17-month-old, and I can't wait to send her to Mus.
Thank you, Gali. Folks, that is the fruit of our labor. That is what this is all about. Our vision, however, goes beyond just building a second campus. We're building a village for global Jewry. This village will also include an internship and technology center where college graduates and postgraduates can intern for a year or more at Beersheba's high-tech companies, achieving this by working together with Jewish National Fund's Louder Employment Center. This village will be a home for Frontier, JNF's Gap Year program for high school graduates, and an adult Zionist education center for adults from around the world. There's no better place for this global village than Be'er Sheva, which today is Israel's fastest growing city, and where Jewish National Fund's major initiative, Blueprint Negev, all began. Why Be'er Sheva? Yes, Abraham thought it was great. In fact, he even bought a well there. But let's hear from its mayor, our good friend, Mayor Ruvik Danilovich, from a modern point of view.
שלום למשפחה היקרה והאהובה שלנו. משפחת JNF ארצות הברית. אני נמצא כאן, בעיר באר שבע, בירת הנגב, עיר המטרופולין של הדרום כולו. תגידו לי, מי היה מאמין? מי היה מאמין שמלב המדבר יוקם פה האגם המלאכותי הגדול ביותר במדינת ישראל? והאמפיתיאטרון? האמפיתיאטרון הכי גדול במדינה שלנו, והספורטק האיכותי, והטיילות, ומצפה בית אשל, וגשר הצינורות, וכל כך הרבה חוויות כאן, במקום שהיה פעם החצר האחורית. אז תראו מה קורה כאשר דמיון הופך למציאות. שהשותפות הגדולה בינינו היא לא רק שותפות גורל של העם היהודי. היא שותפות שיש בה כל כך הרבה אמונה. לעשות את הדברים הבלתי צפויים. להפוך דבר שלא מציאותי לדבר שגרתי. התורמות והתורמים עם כל כך הרבה אהבה, אמונה וגם התרגשות. יצרתם פה את הדבר שעוצר את הנשימה לכל מי שמתקרב לכאן. אתם יודעים מה עשיתם לאנשים? מתגייסים ביחד. כל מטרה היא ברת מימוש. כל חלום ניתן להגשמה. ותראו איך החלום הזה מדבק. של מוס שמוקם כאן בעזרתכם האדיבה, ואני בטוח שזה יהפוך להיות פרויקט לאומי, כי זאת משימה לאומית. להביא את כל הצעירות והצעירים לכאן, לארץ ישראל, למדינת ישראל. בואו תהיו חלק מאיתנו. תלמדו כאן. תכשירו את עצמכם. תהיו חלק מהקהילה. תשמרו על היהדות הנפלאה ששייכת לכולנו, ולא חשוב איפה אנחנו נמצאים על פני הגלובוס. כן, כן, באר שבע. מעירו של אברהם אבינו. מערש היהדות. מהמקום שבו יצאה האמונה באל אחד. אנחנו רק בעיצומו של המסע. לא סיימנו אותו, כי יש לנו עוד הרבה מאוד אתגרים. אנחנו חייבים להקים פה את הקמפוס ולהשלים אותו. אנחנו עוד צריכים לעשות הרבה דברים כדי שבאר שבע תהפוך להיות מרכז. לא רק מרכז הארץ, לא רק מרכז ישראל, אלא מרכז בינלאומי של לימודים, של חינוך, של טכנולוגיה, של אקדמיה, מרכז שיוצר את העתיד. בעזרתכם אנחנו עושים את זה. שיהיה לכולנו ברכה והצלחה. אלוהים יברך אתכם.
Thank you, Ruvik. Working with you in the city of Be'er Sheva, I know our vision will become a reality, and this village will become the greatest place to bring our Jewish world together. I'd like to say a few words about the JNF Technology Center and the Technology Internship Program at our village. Internships are so beneficial today. They help develop professional aptitude, strengthen personal character, and provide a door of opportunity to our young people for the technology future they desire. By investing in internships, we will help these young professionals, especially in today's competitive environment, to get ahead, and we will also give them the opportunity to engage with the people of Israel. During one of my visits to Israel, I saw the cybersecurity capital of Israel in Be'er Sheva. I visited Dell Technologies, Wix, Intel, and I have talked to their leadership about the opportunities for our young American Jewish college graduates to come to Israel, spend a year, and intern with them. They are excited, and we are excited about these great opportunities. They will be living in our apartment complex on our Zionist village, where they will go to work, learn, and grow professionally. And when they come home at night, they'll have the opportunity to learn Hebrew, Jewish studies, and during their free time, travel throughout Israel. Every Shabbat, they will be invited to one of our young leaders' homes in Be'er Sheva and get to know the people of Israel, and they will better understand the Jewish National Fund story. After a year of internship, some may stay in Israel and make Aliyah. Now, wouldn't that be great? And those that come back to the U.S. will be the leaders of Jewish National Fund for the next 50 years. Once again, Jewish National Fund USA is paving the way to something unique and special. And every one of our partners should be proud to be part of the JNF magic.
Thank you, Saul. Rest assured, we are strategic. That is the Jewish National Fund way. We put a lot of planning and thought into this, and we know it's not enough just to open. We have to understand what it will take to run the village. So we hired KPMG to conduct a feasibility study of this project. And with me now is Marvin Schlanger, who has extensive experience in mergers, acquisitions, and strategic expansion as an executive at large companies. Marv, why was it important to conduct a feasibility study?
JNF has a responsibility to our investors, the people who donate to us, to make sure that the money they give us is used in an efficient, effective manner. We conducted the feasibility study to demonstrate the financial viability of the project. We wanted the ability to be transparent to our donors and show them what the economics look like. And we also wanted to learn about the leveraging issues and the economics of the project to help us design the project and then operate efficiently once the project is complete.
And what were the findings?
The study showed that the project is viable, and when the center is up and running, the economics are acceptable to JNF. Recall there were three components of the project: the Alexander Must High School in Israel, a Zionist education center, and a technology center residence for interns who are living and working in Israel. Each component, standing on its own, was eminently viable and added to the success of the project.
Can you tell us what you see as the challenges as well as the opportunities?
Every challenge represents an opportunity for JNF. First, expanding the Must High School will give us the opportunity to recruit so many more students to spend a semester or a portion of a semester studying in Israel, where they will make the lifelong connections to the land of Israel and Zionism. The Zionist Education Center will provide the opportunity for JNF and our Zionist partners to hold seminars and educate visitors from all kinds of groups about Zionism, the history of Israel, and the future potential of Israel. The opportunities are limitless.
Thank you, Marv. Now let's hear from Israeli Ambassador Ido Aharoni, who has devoted his entire career to promoting Israel as the heart of the Jewish people and why Jewish National Fund can make this happen.
Greeting from Israel to all my friends at the Jewish National Fund, Russell Robinson, Saul Lizabram, and the rest of the wonderful people behind this incredible organization. It gives me such a great pleasure to congratulate you on the announcement regarding your new Alexander Mas High School campus in Be'er Sheva. You are fulfilling two visions. Both of them are critically important to the future of the State of Israel and the Jewish people. The first is David Ben-Gurion's own vision. David Ben-Gurion was a champion of the Israeli South, known as the Negev, and he believed that the State of Israel should not center and concentrate in the Dan region, the greater Tel Aviv area or the greater Jerusalem area, but rather occupy the land that is available to them, the desert, and you are fulfilling his dream. He retired in 1965 as prime minister and went to the desert until his death in 1973, and he's also buried there. As we celebrate 73 years of existence next year, you're also fulfilling the second vision, which is to give every member of the Jewish collective an opportunity to connect with the place. We know that if only given a chance, Israel could sell itself. Unfortunately, there are so many inaccuracies and mistruths about Israel. We live in the post-truth era, which is very, very difficult. And many of the people that I meet on campus and off campus, they're struggling because they're being bombarded with pieces of information that have nothing to do with reality. And the fact that we are going to have such a massive educational institution in the Negev will allow young Jews from all walks of life to come to Israel, experience the place, and with that experience will come also a great deal of self-confidence. No one will be in a position to tell them something that is not true about Israel, about the Zionist story. And those of you who know me, I devoted my entire professional life to telling the story of our people. And I can't thank you enough as an Israeli. I cannot thank you enough as a former Israeli diplomat. As a father to three children, all three of them live in Israel now. I can't thank you enough for what you're doing. God bless you, and I'm here to help in any way, shape, or form.
Jewish National Fund's Zionist Adult Education Center in Be'er Sheva will draw people of all generations from across the globe to learn together. We're extraordinarily fortunate to have Ken Stein, Emory University professor of contemporary Middle Eastern history, political science, and Israel studies, and founding director of the Emory Institute for the Study of Modern Israel, working with us on this effort, and he will offer his perspective on why this is so vital.
The JNF Israel Education Center is vital for the larger JNF World Zionist Village because it becomes a center for adults to learn about the origins of modern Israel and the JNF role within it. The goal is to have people learn, understand, and reinforce their commitment to Israel as a central core of Jewish identity. And for some, it's a reboot to Israel engagement. For others, it's new. The ultimate conclusion is to have individuals unfold their understanding of Jewish state seeking, Jewish state making, and Jewish state keeping. The JNF, established in 1901, was an integral part in the unfolding of the ability of taking Jews scattered from different parts of the world and linking them, connecting them to the land. And the JNF acquired the land, they ameliorated it, made it ready for Jews to come and build their villages. And the JNF also played a role in the broader context of nation building by collaborating with other organizations that were vital for the Jewish state's creation. The method in doing all this will be to have individuals unfold source materials, documents, texts, have individuals look at the story and have them come to the conclusions. Because if they look at the conclusions themselves, they will learn, they'll belong to the story, and they'll ultimately own it. And finally, we want individuals who come to the JNF Israel Education Center to maintain their contact with the center once they go back home and continue to learn and reinforce Israel's vital role in Jewish identity.
Thank you, Ken. Also with us today are three rabbis, each from different denominations, here to share with you why this village is so exciting, so needed, and so vital to our future.
For decades, the JNF has literally been changing the landscape of Israel. What began with building forests has evolved into building high-tech centers. But at its core, it's always been the same, which is to develop the greatest natural resources of Israel for its future. When I think about the challenges facing Zionism for the next generation, I think at its core, it's all going to rest on the way we educate the next generation of American and diaspora Jews and Israeli Jews and build bridges between them. And for us to be able to harness the power of technology to make a large global Jewish community feel smaller. And that's where this Israel Education and Technology Campus, right in the heart of the Negev, comes into play. It will be a center for Jews of every age, of every denominational stripe, from every country in which Jews exist, in addition with friends of ours who are not Jewish who want to come and learn about the state of Israel and Zionism, where we can learn and eat and study and pray and transform the Zionist conversation. I am grateful that the JNF, like the state of Israel, has big dreams and visions.
The early Zionists used to say that they went to Israel livnot ulihibanot, to build the land and to be built by the land. The Jewish National Fund, which has for the history of the land of Israel built the land, is now creating a place to bring people to be built by the land, to be shaped by it, to understand what Zionism is in the 21st century, its history and its future. It is an extraordinary undertaking and the product of an extraordinary vision, that in the desert that we have persuaded to bloom, we will help young minds to bloom, to open to the joys and riches of our tradition, of our people, and of our land. What a joy, and what a miracle.
Okay, Be'er Sheva is a place where Abraham made his mark in the land of Israel. We're told that Abraham and his wife Sarah worked on making lives, hanefesh asher asu b'Haran, the lives that they made in Haran. How do you make a life? How do you make a life of a person? You make a life of a person by speaking with that person, by educating that person, by debating with that person, and by loving that person. And we're told that Abraham was promised by God that through Isaac, Kibi Yitzchak Yikarei Lecho Zara, his future comes through his son Isaac. Well, what do we know about Isaac? Isaac lived in the south. Vayetze Yitzchak lasuach basadeh v'hu yoshev be'eretz haNegev. Isaac went out to converse in the field, and he was living in the south, in the Negev. And what did he do in the Negev? He conversed. He conversed with God. He conversed with people. He conversed with non-Jews, with Avimelech, as his father had done. And by speaking with each other, they were able to come to an agreement, to make peace with each other, to find a way that they could both live in their own context, but live in the same land in peace. And that's so important for the Jewish people. There are so many of us, we're so diverse, we have so many different points of view about religion, about politics, about the future. The important thing is that if we are to move forward as a people, we have to re-educate ourselves to speak with each other, not at each other. We have to speak about what is the future destiny of the Jewish people? What do we have in common? We have to be able to create leaders who will travel all over the world to their countries of origin and teach them about Be'er Sheva, about Israel, about conversing with each other. They have to go out to the college campuses and have an impact on other Jewish kids on college campus to be able to advocate for Israel. They have to be able to eventually get married and create Jewish families so that the Jewish people will procreate and become fruitful as God promised to Abraham, and that we should become a great nation of many diverse ideas who love each other, who care for each other, and who respect each other. Unity in diversity is so important for the Jewish people.
A rousing endorsement if I ever heard one. But still, we need more. We need for everyone to get on board, and that includes the greater organized Jewish world as well. With us now is Sandy Carden of Our Common Destiny, who will attest to the importance of this endeavor from a truly global perspective.
Shalom, Chevra. My name is Sandy Carden, and I am honored to serve as the Chief Executive Officer of Our Common Destiny, a joint venture of Genesis Philanthropy Group and the Israeli Ministry of Diaspora Affairs under the auspices of President Reuven Rivlin. I am also the proud son of Jewry and Shoshana Carden, two incredible role models and mentors, as well as loving, supportive parents. My earliest memories as a child include having a blue and white box on our kitchen counter for weekly tzedakah. And later I watched as both parents became lay leaders of JNF at the highest levels. Indeed, I am sure it was their sense of responsibility to serve the Jewish people and state of Israel that led me to the position I hold today. The cornerstone of Our Common Destiny is the understanding that all Jews are connected to each other, regardless of our religiosity, geography, or politics. Even though our journeys may be different, our destiny links us one together. It is essential that we form strong bonds with each other, embrace our diversity as a people, and work as one to create a movement that propels us forward. That is why I feel privileged and proud to be part of the launch of the Jewish National Fund Israel Education and Technology Campus in Beersheba, Israel. This is more than an idea. It is more than a campus. It is a physical and virtual platform that will connect our people for years to come. The campus will spark essential conversations about Zionism, Israel, Jewish peoplehood, and much more. The discussions it generates will be about connection rather than separation, togetherness rather than divisiveness, peoplehood rather than individuality. At Our Common Destiny, we are working every day to achieve the same outcomes. And when the Jewish National Fund opens its world-class Zionist village, the Jewish world will finally be able to come together in one place and gather strength from each other as we work to build a shared future. It is exciting to see the vision and the potential for the village, a place that will bring high school and college students, young leaders, seniors, teachers, Jewish community professionals, and so many more together. We must change the current realities in the Israel diaspora relations field, from conflict to shared dreams and ideas. The new JNF village will bring Israel and the world together, not to resolve disputes, but to celebrate our diversity and shape our common commitment to build a strong and vibrant Jewish community of tomorrow. At Our Common Destiny, we know every organization in the government of Israel are committed to strengthening the Jewish people and integrating our Zionist visions together. And the Jewish National Fund Israel Education and Technology Campus will be a very important arrow in our quiver. As we all focus on strengthening the ties between the Jewish community worldwide and the people of Israel, I want to congratulate the Jewish National Fund on its vision and passion. At Our Common Destiny, we wish you the best of luck as we walk down this road together. While there are difficult times in front of us, together we can build a bright future for our people. Kain Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. Toda Rabbah and Hatzlacha.
Wow, this is quite a conversation and one that we all need to have. As you can see, this is an extraordinary undertaking and vital in the impact it will have. My name is Ken Siegel, and together with Bernice Friedman, we are heading up the fundraising campaign for this beautiful and important village. Our goal is to raise $350 million for this new campus. It's ambitious, but we're off to an excellent start.
Quietly, over the last year, we've had conversations with members of our national board, and we're proud to say that over and above their annual commitment, we have raised $10 million from these national board members. And that's before we publicly announced the campaign.
Also, our fundraising team has had meetings with some of the most significant Jewish and non-Jewish philanthropists and foundations in the world. We have received positive feedback from many who are waiting to see our plans unfold. I truly believe that once we get the word out, we will be having philanthropists calling us to be a part of this Zionist revolution. They won't want to be left out.
Let's not forget that fundraising for the new campus is in addition to the responsibilities we have to raise $100 million a year in support of our ongoing commitments in Israel. We have every confidence that our partners, our donors, will make this vision a reality.
So true. Nearly 1,500 volunteers and lay leaders serving Jewish National Fund is a big army of advocates who share our vision of building the land of Israel.
We're also working with our donors on a variety of planned giving options to support this endeavor. Our award-winning planned giving department will work with donors on an individual basis on estate gifts, trusts, annuities, and some donors are contributing appreciated real estate. And let's not forget that if you have appreciated stock, you can benefit from a charitable deduction by gifting those securities.
So join us. The Jewish National Fund World Zionist Village is a big and bold idea and a game-changing project. You have the opportunity to be a part of something special, something unique, something transformative. We invite you to join us in this campaign and be a part of this lasting legacy for the Jewish people.
A couple of years ago, we were starting to lay some stones on this promenade, and a car pulled up, and he said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Well, we're going to build a promenade. It's going to be a tayelet. It's going to be part of a river walk." And he said, "Don't bother. It will never happen." And there's always been a joke with everybody who works with me here is buy a boat. So I'm telling you, buy a boat. We'll have water in that river, and we'll be taking little cruises to restaurants. And you've already seen the changes, and it's because of leadership and its people.
Before we conclude, Carol Schneer, who has spent her entire professional career in the real estate world, is here with an exciting announcement.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carol Schneer, Greater Los Angeles board member and a proud member of JNF's Century Council, President's Society, and Circle of Sapphire Society. You've just heard about this incredible campus we are envisioning, and here's how you can get involved. Jewish National Fund is launching an ideas competition open to designers, architects, students, and educators to submit your creative and ingenious ideas of how our campus should or could look like. Areas such as dormitories, classrooms, convening spaces, gardens, entranceways, synagogue, cafes, and much more. There really are so many aspects which will comprise our innovative and transformational village for the city of Beersheba. This Zionist global village will be an altogether revolutionary, extraordinary, and amazing project, not only for the city of Beersheba and the country of Israel, but for Zionism the world over, a real game changer. We are looking for your creative input to dream with us. So here's our invitation to you to get in on the ground floor, share your innovative ideas, and have your voice heard in Israel. Make your mark on the most exciting project Jewish National Fund has ever envisioned. So please visit our brand new website, which is jnf.org/Zionist Village. That's jnf.org/Zionist Village to read about our competition, prizes, and our People's Choice Award for the ideas that win. This is all about making your dreams a reality.
Thank you, Carol. But you don't have to be an architect to get involved. We want all your ideas. This is a massive undertaking, and there's room for you all. We need you all. We have committees in formation on all aspects of this campaign. We have focus groups taking place. We have large and small donation opportunities. Do one, do them all. We need you. Just go to jnf.org/Zionist Village to learn more. And thank you. Thank you for all you have done and all you will continue to do for the land and people of Israel. Good night.
70 שנה במכונית, אני נוסע ומביט על מה היה ומה נהיה, ואיך נפשי עוד הומייה מהמצדה של הזריחות, ירושלים בסליחות, מחוף כנרת ואכזיב, מהמסיבות של תל אביב. אבי חלם והתפלל לחיות בארץ ישראל. היום ילדי אותי שואל מה הסיפור של ישראל. כאן זה בית, כאן זה לב, ואותך אני לא עוזב. אבותינו שורשים ואנחנו הפרחים המנגינות, שבט אחים ואחיות, אותה שכונה, אותו רחוב, תרי סרבנים של יעקב, אוספים ביחד נדודים בתוך תרמיל געגועים. אדם הוא נוף מולדתו, חורת קווים בכף ידו, בין התפילות לנדרים, ריחות פרדס של הדרים, ובעיניה של אמי תמיד אמצא את מקומי. על הגיטרה מתנגן, ניגון עתיק שמחבר. כאן זה בית, כאן זה לב, ואותך אני לא עוזב. אבותינו שורשים, ואנחנו הפרחים המנגינות, שבט אחים ואחיות.
מבראשית הכל תפור, טלאים טלאים של הסיפור, כמו שתי מילים להתחבר,
בחוט זהב של משורר. אני מכאן, אני שייך, וכל חבר שלי כמו אח. אתה פועמת בלבבי, אני מזרח מערבי. כאן זה לב, ואותך אני לא עוזב. אבותינו שורשים, ואנחנו הפרחים המנגינות, שבט אחים